Good morning. Is it okay?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Well, good morning, committee and guests in the audience. Thank y'all for being here. Welcome to Day 16, Legislative Day, and to the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee. I'd like to start off our meeting with a prayer from Representative Danny Mathis.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you today. We just thank you for the many blessings. We just ask you to be with us in this meeting today, that we make good decisions for the state and that we make good decisions for agriculture and consumer affairs. Father, we just thank you, love you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Okay, well, a rainy day outside, but that's okay. We're inside here all day. I know the farmers need some rain. I want to remind our committee we have our committee dinner, and I want to thank Lee Lemke for putting it together, and our many sponsors. Hope you can come. Spouses or friends are invited tonight. Fogo de Chao. It is a great meal. If you hadn't been there in a while, there's plenty to eat, so come hungry and enjoy the fellowship there tonight. It's at 6:30, or if you want to get there at 6, it starts. It's casual kind of. We'll be in the back room, so valet parking, I think. So come on. We've got a lot of bills to hear this morning, and so we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to. Is any other business to start with, committee? Any other items? Well, I'd like to start with HB 91 from Chairman Sharon Cooper. Welcome back to the Ag Committee. I think you're getting educated in a lot of good ag things. I was in the Health Committee the other day and got a lot of help from the chairman on another ag bill I had over there. So good morning, and HB 91, you're up.
Right. I think the committee, if you remember, HB 91 allows us to help foreign vets that have become board certified in different specialties of veterinarian medicine, such as cardiology or orthopedics or surgery of small animals, or they do have a thing on surgery, one on surgery of big animals, to get their license here if they have done a year of an internship and 2 to 3 years of a specialty and passed one of our board exams here in the United States. I'll be glad to answer questions.
We do have a question, Representative Donahue. Oh, is that you? No. Carter. Representative Carter, go ahead.
It's my twin. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Chairman Cooper. Thank you for this legislation. I was hoping last week someone else would ask this, so they didn't. I will. I love the opportunity that we're given to folks so we can fulfill the need here in the U.S. Question, though, since this is geared toward foreign professionals, what type of citizenship or whatever we're going to need for them to be able to do this? Because I would hate for us to put this out there and then there's an issue. So when they come to the U.S., do they already need to have citizenship? Do they have green cards? Or how is that part going to work?
Mr. Chairman, may I ask Dr. Agda to come up and answer that one? Yep. And to the committee, I'll say, this is the best vet in the city of Atlanta.
So most of these doctors are already here. They have done their residency here in the U.S. and passed the boards here, and they have a visa and already to be here and work as veterinarians here. No problem. Thank you.
And if you have your pets here with you while you are here at the legislature, if you ever have a problem, she has an emergency veterinarian clinic 24 hours a day, and when I tell you, you can't believe how the specialties are. She has a full-scale CT scanner like the ones they use in the hospital for humans and so forth. So if I can ever help you, all you have to do is call me night or day. I do it for if you have medical emergency. So if you have a pet emergency while you're here, I will get you to Dr. Agda. So.
Okay, Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm in favor for the bill as well. I just want a little bit more clarity on the reciprocity part of it, because last week you explained that some states already allow this to take place, and so let's say, for instance, they're licensed in another state under this same program, and they come to Georgia. What does that reciprocity looks like? Are they going to have to? So this bill would eliminate that, or do they still have to go through?
No,
Okay.
they would have to, just like we would have to match, a vet from Georgia would have to meet whatever laws that state had, and they would have to meet our state laws,
So even beyond this particular bill.
just like a regular vet, but the fact that they are board certified and at this level, it would certainly make it easier. And I will tell you that the Veterinary Association and the board had rules that would help move these applications for just general vets and all along and make them quicker. Those were sort of lost for a year and a half. They hadn't been acted on. Nobody really knew where they were. And I will tell you, since this meeting last week, the Attorney General's office checked in with me on Monday, and they said that the board was meeting yesterday, the veterinarian board, and they would be looking at those rules and moving them along. I asked where they'd been. He said they'd rather not say, but those rules, which will help us accelerate the rate of just getting regular vets into Georgia and would help this, are on their way.
Thank you.
I see one more question. Representative Mathis.
Thank you, Chairman Cooper, for bringing this. I do have one question, though. I know we're talking about a shortage in veterinarians. Down in my area, we don't have a shortage of veterinarians. We have a shortage of veterinarians that want to do large animals. I have a few cows and lost one not too long ago with twins. Couldn't get a big vet out there to help. So my concern is here. I wish there was a stipulation in this bill that says that these folks that are coming in here would maybe agree to do large animals, because I know a couple of years ago we had some issues where we were trying to encourage veterinarians, maybe some way to give them incentives to do large animals. So that's the only hold up I have with this is that we have plenty of veterinarians around my area, but they just want to do, like what you said, the little CT scans and the little pets and that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, Representative Mathis, if they're board certified in cardiology, they would be able to treat a large animal for cardiology, or if a horse broke their leg and they're board certified in orthopedics.
Well, I'm aware of that, but here's the deal: they won't come out and do them. They got the certification, but they don't want them. It's just not something they want to do. So that's the only issue I have with the bill.
Sure.
So, Representative Matthews, the law will allow, for example, someone from UGA, so there are a lot of the doctors at UGA that don't have a state license because they could work within the university without having a state license, and this law will allow them to have the state license. So you could call UGA and say, hey, can you have the large animal veterinarian there come over and see my large animals? And so the law will, in a sense, broaden the ability to get a veterinarian, because it will allow the academia veterinarians to get a license as well.
I also think that many of the vets that come from foreign nations they're more likely to work with large animals, because in their training there's much more training with large animals. I know somebody that was from Colombia that went to vet school in Colombia, and a large portion of that time was spent on large animals because just that's more their focus. So I think as we get more good foreign graduates, not just in maybe when they've gone to become board certified, but in general, and I think the board is working toward that. If not, if that's not some changes they've made in the current rules, and I didn't get to see them because they just found them and went straight to a board meeting, and I've never seen them because I don't usually deal with veterinary medicine, I think that would be a bill that we could look to putting in next year. And I did think somebody said that they had a bill this year to give more loan reduction if That's-
You're absolutely right, and I was going to ask Secretary Holson to sort of give the committee an update. I think you got a bill in committee today. Is that not correct?
That's correct. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's correct. Actually, it's going to be heard in higher ed today at 1 o'clock. Basically, it's an incentive program that's been in existence it's kind of a tuition reimbursement program for veterinarians that practice large animal, and we're looking at increasing the incentivization to hopefully to fill that void in large animal food industry vets, and that's why Representative Mathis, he and I was questioned. So I thank you for clarifying that within that opportunity, I've spoken with the board that if these, and I know a lot of times we're thinking that it's foreign individuals that's coming in, but I do understand that there's a lot of folks that may not can get into school, say here in Georgia, that may go to Grenada or some of the others to get their education and then come back into the States to have that ability. So thank you very much for the bill.
Thank you for that update. I see no more questions. At the proper time, if someone would like to make a motion, I hear motion. I got a second. Okay. Any other discussion on HB 91? We're working off LC 570187. Is that correct, Chairman Cooper?
No, I have a different. No, I have a different. Is that the number?
I think that's what we have.
57.
No, we got the substitute. Excuse me.
Okay, 57.
I got the wrong one in our folder.
Mr. Chairman, I'll clarify. I moved HB 91 LC 5702
Thank you. All right, everybody on the same page? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
One opposed. Motion passes, bill passes. Thank you, Chairman Cooper. On the rules, I think I'll need to sign a form for that sometime today.
Okay.
And thank you for being here. Thank you for the bill.
Thank you very much. And I really was serious. Here are with you. Please call me if you ever have a problem. Thank you very much.
All right. Next on our agenda, Representative Peter, HB 117, concerning food service establishments. And
thank you, Chairman and members. Chairman, I spoke to the full committee last week, or was it a subcommittee?
It was full
It
committee.
was full committee,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. I had to.
So this is
it's
your
been so
second
busy.
time back here.
So I may not need to go into all the gory details about.
You did give us
foreign
glory
shrimp. Do I need-
details last time.
Do I need to do that again, or are you good? You okay with that? All right. Let me just. What's that again? All right. So here's what we will do. I will give you our new substitute bill to House Bill 117. Mr. Chairman, is LC 443035S. Y'all should all have that before you. My friend Representative Donahue will be, he commented on how he likes a short bill the other day. I've shortened it even further today. So you should be pleased there. Mr. Chairman, here's what I've done since our initial hearing. And I appreciate the way you have hearings first before you vote on bills. I do that in my committee as well. I think there's wisdom in that. It allows us to come back and tweak things. Here's what we've done. In working with the Restaurant Association and with a multitude of folks that I saw at home over the weekend, friends that own and operate restaurants, I've come up with what I believe solves exactly the problem I'm trying to get at, and at the same time does not create any undue burden on the industry. And so here's what we've done. 3 changes here. Number one, we say commercial food service establishments. I alluded to that in the first hearing, that I had planned to do that anyway. The goal was not to get institutions in this. This is for commercial food restaurants, commercial food service establishments. So you'll see that change. The second change, we say shrimp. So we have eliminated the section that defines seafood and made this much broader on all seafood products, and we're limiting this to shrimp, which, as I described in the first meeting, is overwhelmingly the largest seafood product that's consumed in the country. So this will relate now to shrimp, as you see on line 10. And then, rather than country of origin, which it seems, shipments coming into restaurants sometimes change. These products will come from different locations, literally every week, or in some cases, a couple of times in the same week. And so what we're going to do is, if you have imported shrimp on the menu, which, as I described in the last meeting, 94% of the shrimp consumed in this country are imported, sadly. But if you have imported shrimp, it is going to be noted foreign imported. And you'll see that on line 12, and it'll be on the menu or on placards visible to the public if they don't have a menu. Mr. Chairman, if I can add one thing, there's one change that I want to make to this substitute. I apologize for that, but it was brought to my attention this morning. And Representative Donahue is going to help me by offering an amendment. The current language does just what we want it to do, but the industry is concerned that, to be very clear, where we say that serves shrimp, we want to insert the word imported. So obviously you're only going to note if it's foreign imported, if it is, but they want us on line 10 to state all commercial food service establishments in this state that serve, and on line 10 we will insert imported shrimp, to just be very clear that if somebody's serving domestic shrimp, they don't have to somehow post something. Does that make sense? And so Representative Donahue, when y'all get to the appropriate time, has agreed to make that amendment on my behalf, Mr. Chairman. Any questions? I'm glad to answer.
You do have a few questions. Thank you for bringing this bill back to committee. Chairman Gunner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to clarify,
Yes, sir.
I know you said this goes to food service establishments that would be like a restaurant on the ground. But does it also affect these food trucks that are selling, they're kind of like a mobile restaurant? I didn't know if it included that.
So the answer to that would be yes, because any commercial food service establishment that would be regulated by environmental health of public health would be, that's not institutional somehow. If it's commercial like that, that would still be covered, yes.
Yeah.
Those have the same food service permit as an actual restaurant.
Okay.
So yes, sir. It would include them as well, yes, sir.
Is that term food service establishment defined elsewhere in the code?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Chairman Yoder.
Not yet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, I appreciate you bringing this bill. It's a good bill, and I appreciate your efforts to protect Georgia shrimp. I can tell you there's no comparison.
None.
Dominic Lurikia did a slow country boil at the Ag Department last year, and those shrimp, Georgia shrimp, would melt in your mouth. Incidentally, I had some shrimp at a fine dining establishment in Atlanta, and they were foreign, and it took a lot of cocktail sauce to make them good. So,
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Appreciate you. My question is, we hear a lot from the administration on tariffs. Are there any tariffs that protect our shrimp industry in Georgia?
Representative, that's a fantastic question. That is another issue I'm working on. I'm trying to get the Trump administration
Excellent.
to finally act on. So most of these countries, some have no tariffs, some have some tariffs, but the trade imbalance now, the dumping that's occurring of, particularly Ecuador recently, they just dump products here in such quantities, it just destroys our market. We need tariffs on some of these countries like India, where I described are having the biggest issue with antibiotics in shrimp, and India is the #1 imported country of origin for shrimp. And so my hope is that we have an administration that is going to that is going to take that concern seriously and actually finally do something.
Right.
And I'm actually working on that, trying to get some attention to dealing with that issue. Yes, sir.
Thank you
Excellent
again.
question.
Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, sir.
A couple other questions, and then we'll move on. Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Help me recall from the last week when you were here, it was more than just shrimp that you had
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
bill. Can you explain why you removed the other? Because I do know that
Yes,
they're
ma'am.
like fish, like tilapia is imported.
Yeah.
And I have a concern for that as well.
Well, so Representative, thank you for the good question. I absolutely do as well. I would not eat tilapia. It's raised the same way a lot of this shrimp is. Not all of it, but a lot of it is. So here's what I would say. My goal initially was to capture all seafood. I think that when we looked at first of all, because the greatest percentage of the products we're talking about, we're really capturing the overwhelming majority with shrimp. That is America's favorite seafood that we consume. The concern was that for the restaurant industry, if they had to do this with every item, that it was going to be a burden on them, and I never wanted it. And I told them from the outset, and I hope they will recognize this. I told them from the outset, as an entrepreneur my whole career, I did not want to create a burden on business. That's not what we tend to do here, and it's certainly not my philosophy. So I wanted to get that transparency we needed for consumers without putting an undue burden on the industry, and it seemed like they're having to do this on all of those products would create almost a constant churn in menus, and I felt like that this was a reasonable compromise.
I agree. However,
Yes, ma'am.
can we work toward having disclosure on all of the seafood? Because you don't know what we're eating.
That's the reason we're all here. That's the will of the committee. But again, that is the reason that I created this substitute by, speaking to all sides as we do here. Speak to this side and this side. Speak to restaurant owners personally that I know, particularly at home, and trying to make sure we accomplish what we're trying to do without creating too much of a burden on them.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairman. That's a great explanation of our process up here with a lot of bills. We got a couple more questions, and we're going to move on for a motion for this bill. Representative Reese.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank you for this bill here. I think that oftentimes Georgians go to restaurants and eat and don't understand the quality of food that they're eating. So this is going to go a long way with visibly displaying so that people will know what the quality of because we know the standards that we have here. Right. What we can't account for is what happened in other locations. But we even take advisory steps when we go travel. You'll be told, no, don't drink the water, don't eat this, don't drink that. Well, we don't get those advisories when it's brought here, and we don't know about it. So I want to say thank you for this bill, and Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I would like to move this bill.
Thank you, Representative, for your good comments.
Thank you for that. We'll take one more question. Representative Carter, you got a question?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes. I'm with most of us. I do love shrimp. But my concern, displaying that the shrimp was imported doesn't necessarily bring me comfort that there's some safety, because I assume this is really why we're doing this. I know you talked about the Georgia shrimp and want to preserve that industry here, but do we have the mechanisms in place to ensure that the shrimp, before it gets to the restaurant, that it's either been inspected and is safe? Because if that's what we're going for, putting the label on the menu doesn't really tell me anything other than it's imported. So I'm really just I kind of was struggling with like the end goal.
So
I appreciate it, but I just
No. It's a good question. Let me explain. Let me tell you to the best of my ability how I would answer that. So here's what you learned from me at the last meeting. Imported shrimp is inspected by the FDA. So first of all, we don't do that. The feds do. They do a terrible job of it. 0.7% of that shrimp is inspected by the feds. So if we tell the people transparently this product is imported, we have to assume they're going to be educated enough to know, and hopefully the world will become, forums like this help educate, right? If it's imported, those countries do not have the health standards of American products, as was just said by Representative Reese. They do not. Americans know that. And what I want to make sure of, and they aren't inspected like American products, and they have higher failure rates than American products. Americans need to somehow learn that. What this bill says is you're going to know when you go in if that shrimp is imported. And then you can make your own decision. I mean, we're not, we believe in freedom. So I'm not trying to violate freedom. I want people to, I want you to, if you want nothing but Indian shrimp, I want you to get all the Indian shrimp you can eat. I don't want to change, that's the consumer's deal. But today people don't know what they're eating. This is about making sure if it is imported, you know where it's coming from. You know it's imported from somewhere. And I'll tell you what, if it's imported, it's coming from India or China or Vietnam or Thailand or Ecuador. That's it. Most of it from India, as we discussed last time. So I think so it's a great question, and I appreciate it. But, I have your same frustrations, because what you're asking is, well, how do we know it's going to be safe? Well, that's the FDA's job. And maybe we'll see some improvements there, too, going forward. But that's something that is beyond what we address here. But thank you for the good question.
Thank you, Chairman Petrie. We've taken a lot of questions. Have you got something there? We'll do one more.
Popular.
Thank you for your
Chairman Camp.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Petrie, you and I had a conversation offline after the last hearing, correct? In that conversation, we talked about some things I'd like to share, if that's all right with you.
Of course.
One of the big things is when you go to the grocery store and there's a bag of shrimp in the frozen food section, you can clearly flip that bag over and it tells you the point of origin. Unfortunately, right now, when you go to a restaurant, you don't know where it comes from. And a quick Google search will tell you everything you need to know about the potential toxins that can be in shrimp because they come from mangroves primarily, or swamps, or pools, or ponds in other countries. And they are not in the same class, in my personal opinion, as something that is out in the ocean. So for that purpose, I think it's important for the consumer to know. And one of the compromises he and I did discuss was the foreign imported shrimps. It'd be very challenging to put Indonesia, Ecuador for a restaurant. So I think letting people know that foreign imported shrimp, they can make their own choice. But I think it's important to know. So thank you for bringing the measure.
Thank you for
Isn't
your
it
good
true?
points.
Thank you, Chairman Camp. Our country of origin, federal country of origin label is what you're relating to, and it's a very good federal thing. All right, here, we need to move on. We got some more bills we need to do, and so we got a chairman's asking for a substitute, so we're going to make a motion on the original bill. I think this is our posture. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. And then we'll have a motion on the substitute. So is there a motion do pass? Got a motion? Got a second? All right. Now, Representative Donahue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like LC 443035S on line 10. We insert the word between serve and shrimp imported. So we say serve imported shrimp.
Okay. Any other comments on that? I'll have you got a motion for the amendment? Got a second? Any other discussion on the amendment? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Amendment passes. Now let's vote on the bill as amended with the inserted word. All in favor of the HB 117 LC 44305S with the substitute language, amended language, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Okay. Thank you. One opposed. Thank you, Chairman. Bill,
Thank you, Chairman,
on the rules, and I'll sign appropriate paperwork today when
I'll get it to you today. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Our next bill is Representative Ridley here. I don't see him. All right. Well, I thought we were going to do our meat bills today. Let's see if we can find Representative Ridley, and we got another couple of bills we want to start here, and we got some bills coming to committee. All of you stay up to date on the website on what we have coming. Representative Franklin, HB 158, how about coming and getting us for this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to share in front of you and your committee. I got to say that I've never been in front of a committee with so many members in it, so there must be something exciting going on in this room. But again, I appreciate the opportunity. So my bill is HB 158. That's LC number 4429926. There wasn't a supplement to it, so I just want to make sure that LC number is correct. LC 442992S. Yes. Okay. So this bill is, it came to my attention that whenever you register a company in Georgia, you do it with the Secretary of State, and it goes there, and you can go to that site and find that company and the details of it. If a company in Georgia is doing business as, or they have a trade name, that registration or that filing goes under the local county. And in order to find out any information about it, you have to search the total of 159 counties in Georgia to be able to find it. So this bill is just simply a way to be able to consolidate that, to have basically a one-stop shop to go do it. My original thought was to have it pulled under to the Secretary of State, but after meeting with the Superior Court Clerk's Authority, they suggested that there's already a Georgia Superior Court Clerk's Corporative Authority in place, that it would make more sense just to pull it under that group, that organization, and file it there. That way we wouldn't have to mess with the money or the process that's already in place. They would continue to do what they're doing, but then the one extra step would be to assign it to this authority so that you could go in and find out the location of it. And you may ask, why is this important? Well, it just streamlines the process to be able to find out who's doing business in Georgia. If anybody wants to know about it, and it makes, I think it makes our state a little bit more transparent. So, but that's simply the bill. Nothing else really changes about the money with the clerks and all that. And I do have the support of the Superior Court Association. So, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Representative Cannon? No, who? Corbett, Representative Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On line 35, it says advertising the legal organ of the appropriate county. I know in one county we've had trouble where the legal organ kind of went bankrupt and closed down. Is there, and I don't know how we address that issue.
Yes, sir. That's that is an issue I think we need to address as an assembly in the future.
More and more papers are going out of business.
That's right. And what I've done a little bit of research with it, but what I understand is that these legal organs are being bought up by other legal organs, and they're just doing, I guess, business within that area. So the reach of that of their ability is just expanding. But that is happening, and I do think we need to address it as an assembly. But I don't know, with this bill, how we can do anything different.
At some point, it's going to be like we did with our driver's license, go digital at some point.
That's right. Yeah, it's a growing problem, though. I agree.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and thanks for bringing the bill, Representative Franklin. Just a quick question in terms of the authority itself, with the additional responsibility of doing this, would they have the appropriate resources to carry through the mandate of the bill?
They've told me that they do, that it wouldn't be hardly anything different from what they're currently doing. And originally, because they were not going to be using that authority, I had the money being taken away. And they actually say they don't make me bound about that either, but the money stays the same. Everything they're doing is the same. Same people that are doing it currently are going to do it now. It's just sending it over to that authority for that database.
Okay, great.
One other point I want to add to the bill is that right now, currently, if a business goes bankrupt or shuts down, there's really no way to get this out of the system in the counties. There's no method for that. This bill allows that if you want to close out your business, you can. So I have no idea how big that database is currently within these counties, but it's a way to clean up that as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mm.
Thank you for that information. We'll keep that on the agenda for next week. Has anybody got any other questions about this bill? Y'all like this bill? Huh?
Make a motion to do pass.
I don't see a motion. I don't hear anybody. I'm sorry. I've been busy trying to get Representative Ridley here. He's stuck in traffic. And Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I use this database a lot in the legal field, and a lot of times when you go to the Superior Court's cooperative website, they're charging to download that information. Mm-hmm. Does this bill address that? Is that what you mean when you say the fees doesn't change? Is that what you're saying, that any implementation for this bill, any that's needed, is going to be offset by the charges that they charge?
No, ma'am. So what they're doing there is currently what they're doing. I'm not addressing that at all. The fee that I was talking about when you do register a trade name in Georgia, that fee that the clerks do to process that admin fee would not change. They would still collect that, and I think it's like $15 or $30. It's a very minimum amount.
But it can be expensive.
Yeah, it could. But to go on the site like you're saying, if you have to have a passcode to get in or whatever to pay, I'm not sure what that fee is, but none of that changes.
Well, it doesn't affect me. Usually the law firms have it already set up an account, but I do know that they charge. So I just wanted clarity.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that bill. We'll put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
And if anybody's got any questions, we'll circle back with you. We are not going to hear HB 265 today. We're in discussions with that, and Representative Saints and some others. So that's kind of a mistake being on our agenda today. I'm trying to get Representative Ridley here. He is stuck in traffic. Y'all know the weather conditions outside, and I think we got a very good bill to move forward with Representative Ridley. If you find, I'm gonna handle it for him if we can, if it's the will of the committee. HB 163 as discussing artificially grown cell cultured meat, and his proposal would another one of those that would be labeled and advertised as such as cell cultured meat. It does not eliminate it or make it illegal to sell. If you want to buy that stuff, you're welcome to it. But his bill will make sure you know what you're buying. Kind of truth in labeling, and that is that. I think he did a pretty good job of explaining that bill, and I'd be open to Mike for any comments about that bill. Representative Carter.
Good, thank you. I think you guys have probably found my favorite subject, right? Food. Okay, so I had an opportunity to have some conversations with some constituents over the weekend, and I know that there's another piece of legislature. I can't even talk. Bill floating. Lord have mercy. So I do appreciate this, but my and I think I talked to the restaurant folk too. What I would prefer, if he would entertain, is a ban that we don't even allow this in the state of Georgia. I think there are some states that have already put bans that they're not allowing it. So yes, label it if it comes, but let's not open our doors. How about that?
You are correct. We have another bill in committee that actually bans it from Representative Bell. And so it will be up to the will of this committee on whether they want it labeled or whether they want it banned. So the committee might have that choice. I don't know. We have not heard from Representative Bell. That bill was dropped after this bill. And so I think I'd like to know the will of this committee on this bill, and then we can judge later from Representative Bell's bill at the proper time from him. I think so. Chairman Corbett.
Thank you, Chairman Dick. At the proper time, I would like to make a motion on the bill we have before us. Do pass.
Okay, so noted. Representative Taylor, would you like any comments on this bill?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'm with my colleague that it should be totally banned, but I guess my curiosity, and you may not be able to answer this, is that I recently came into a situation where someone asked me at a restaurant about the eggs. You can get real egg, or what's the other one? And I was shocked. So would this cover that as well? Because I had no idea. I thought egg was an egg. Right. So, I mean, that was just...
It just talks about organ tissue, and muscle tissue.
So just the meat. Oh, wow. Can we add eggs?
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Got a second? Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Bill passes. On the rules for Mr. Really stuck in traffic today. So I think that is is all the hearings we want to see. We got a full house this morning. I thank y'all all for being here. We do have several other bills in our committee, so take a look at those. We'll be busy next week bringing some of those forward. Representative Holson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is to the committee members itself. Chairman Dickey had requested me to put together a text thread for communication purposes. I'd actually sent out text this morning, so just verify that I do have the correct number, and then I'll be identifying the text as Ag Committee Group to where you'll see when he wants us to be communicated with. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Chairman Meeks, why don't you make that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for members of the committee, you will probably see some red jackets moving around the Capitol today. Georgia Young Farmers Association is here today. So as you see those guys from home, be sure you have take an opportunity to stop and visit with them. They do a great job in our local communities.
Thank you. We've had great representation this week. We had Farm Bureau yesterday. We've had forestry. Next week we got FFA. A lot of great ag things going on. A lot of consumer bills in this committee. I'm proud of those and some more coming. And just thank you for your engagement, committee members. And I look forward to, hopefully, if you can make it. I know it's conflicts everywhere, and the weather's not great, to dinner tonight. And meeting adjourned. Thank you.